Hello sim racers and welcome. Tonight we will be practicing a little bit with the Porsche Cayman GT4 at Barcelona, and I will be telling you why in a minute. But first I have a couple of things I want to talk to you about. Let's start from the not so good things. So, first things first, as you know guys, we have this wonderful channel and it keeps on growing, and thank you so much for all the support. We've made an amazing Discord server community. It keeps on growing. We are close to 6,000 members over there too. And most importantly, the community, it is a very nice ambient, lots of fun and spam and whatever, but it is a very helpful community. And I've seen many people joining in and staying quiet and then contacting me privately into the Discord, asking me questions. Now, we as Kunos, we use Discord to work every day. And as such, I'm only enable messages to show up on me from my colleagues, mainly, and maybe something from the server. So all the other messages, and there are a lot, they are tenths of messages, private messages arriving to me every day, I completely ignore them. I've seen them every week or 2 weeks that they are amassing there all together, but I just ignore them. I do not read them, I do not reply to them because they are so many. And you can imagine that if I start replying there, I won't be working on your favorite, I hope, sim racing title, which is Assetto Corsa Competizione. So I would like to ask you two questions. One is, why don't you use, if you are on Discord already, why don't you use the community? It's very friendly. It's people are already knowledgeable, they can help you, and I'm actively participating and answering questions anytime I can. And we even, English is the main language, but we will reply also in Italian. We will reply in Greek. At least all the languages we can manage. So by all means, please participate there. And secondly, why do you ask me privately and you telling me like, I don't want to bother you, but, and then you ask me? Unfortunately, I would not find your question, because otherwise it won't be able for me to drive. So by all means, I'm flattered that you keep on trying to contact me and ask me everything you want, but go to the Discord server, because otherwise I will miss your question. All right? Thank you so much, guys. So this is one. Let's get out of that. Who cares? That's fine. So, next thing I want to show you. This weekend, GT World, SRO GT World Championship, the GT3 Championship and the GT4 Championship officially starts at Monza. And I'm so happy about it, and also so sad about it because I cannot be there because of pretty strict COVID restrictions that we have right now here in Italy. So I won't be able to go there. I think Marco will go there maybe, but not all the team will be there. And it is a very, very important first race, both because for our beloved GT3s that finally going back to the track, and also the GT2 championship, as Ionat says, but most importantly because it's going to be the first ever championship, GT3 championship, I think the first ever global championship, where the real drivers are going to compete into the simulator, and real points will be assigned to them depending on the classification on the virtual race that will count for the actual real championship. Honestly, I'm worried. I don't know what to think about it, but it is amazing anyway. Both in bad and good terms. I don't know how you think about it, guys, but it is amazing. So I would like to show you at least the real pilots that they are going to, the real drivers that they are going to participate. So let me check. So this is the entry list for the Fanatec, official main sponsor of the GT World Channels Europe, right? So this is the Fanatec eSport GT Pro series at Monza. You can see all the drivers from each team. So we have two drivers, Maro Engel and Ricardo Sanchez from Mercedes-AMG, Marvin Dienst and Alex Fontana, also Marvin for Mercedes, Alex Fontana and Kiko Galbiati for the Lamborghini Huracan from Emil Frey and GRT Grasser. We have Matt Campbell for the Porsche, Adrian Tambay, Tomita and Kelvin van der Linden for the Audi, Benjamin Heidt for the Ferrari, David Pittard, Ben Barnicot for the BMW and McLaren, respectively, Michael Born for the other Mercedes, Nicholas Nielsen for the Ferrari again, Matteo Carioli for the Porsche, Philip Ellis for another Mercedes, Mirko Bortolotti is going to run for the Lamborghini, Mattia Drudi for the Audi, Thomas Druid for the Mercedes, and Daniel Huncadella for the Mercedes, as well as Ezequiel Companc for the other Mercedes, Tommaso Mosca for the Audi, Arthur Reserve for Lamborghini, and Valentin Hess-Claude for Aston Martin. So pretty much everybody is going to participate on the actual virtual race on stage, on place at Monza. They Acapa Informatica together with Fanatec, they have built an amazing place, and all the simulators are from Fanatec. The rigs are amazing, and let me show you this incredible photo that they made. So this is Monza right now. Okay, they did it this afternoon. This is the whole GT3 grid, the whole GT2 grid, which it's going to do a first race, and the whole GT4 grid, and two of the simulator rigs. You can see those are amazing rigs over here from Fanatec. Wow, unbelievable stuff. Honestly, it's really amazing stuff. And we really can't wait to be vaccinated finally and be able to participate to the rest of the races, because on every race it's going to there's going to be a virtual race too. And I really want to start traveling, Europe again, and go meet the drivers, go meet the engineers, go meet everybody. Hopefully this summer it's going to be the moment. So fingers crossed. And yeah. So this weekend, at least, I can't be there, but together I will be watching on GT World, and maybe we can all get together on the Discord channel and stream together and watch together the live stream from GT World YouTube channel, which is the official channel of SRO, GT3 Racing, GT4 Racing, all that stuff. So yeah, meet me up on the Discord channel this weekend. It's going to be amazing. All right, so this is it. What we're going to do tonight. Tonight I'm going to practice with the Cayman GT4 that you can see over here on the first place. Cayman GT4 for me at Barcelona, because I've been invited by by my good friend Steve Hindon, who is creating this Super Cup of single makes Cayman GT4. I don't think I will have the time to participate in all the races, but I will be participating on the opening race at Barcelona, 90 minutes against single makes GT4 Cup. And they will keep on doing round 2 at Misano, round 3 Spa, Kyalami, Paul Ricard, Imola, and Silverstone. So I have to get up to speed. The grid, you can see it here. This is the driver list. It's fast people, so yeah, at least I want to not finish last, something like that. So I will be trying to get up to speed, make a good setup, which I will obviously going to share with you guys. And yeah, this is going to happen on the Monday, 26th of April. The same weekend, the next weekend, I think from that race, I'm gonna have another 4-hour race at Spa, but we'll talk about that in another live stream. So yeah, that's it today. So let me go in game and start doing some practice. By the way, today, because I'm having problems, which, by the way, I have to say, YouTube's support is very good. I have been asking them. Now, usually what I do is I do the live streams, and then very easily and fast for me, lazy dev and so on, I will be... I'm cutting, the live stream in small pieces and uploading automatically from YouTube the too long didn't watch videos. Now, this is practically very easy for me to do because I don't have to, download everything. There is an online YouTube editor that permits me to do all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Unfortunately, in the last week, the save of that editor doesn't work for me. I don't know why. I've contacted the YouTube customer support, and they have been really, really helpful and very good, but they are still also trying and searching to find out why it doesn't work. And so I cannot cut the last stream that we did. So, because I don't know if they're going to resolve it or if it's a new policy or whatever, tonight I will be streaming and also recording the stream. And because it is the first time I will be trying that, I don't think it's going to be any problem. But, if we have any problems that mid-stream everything crashes and goes down, you know why. So I just wanted to tell you about it. All right, so. Okay, let's go back. So this is it. I won't be driving this kind of livery, but I will choose it for today. Steve is going to make a livery for me, so that's good news. He's capable of making some amazing liveries, so I'm very confident he's going to do a fantastic job for me. John Smith says that if everything is going to crash midstream, so it's probably Andy's fault. We all agree on that. Hey, Risab, all good here. Hello, everybody on the chat. So many people already tonight. That's very nice to see. Thank you guys for joining. Blame Andy. It's the new blame Kevin and blame Aris. It's blame Andy. It's the new one. All right, so here we are. A little bit chilly. Always wonderful. Barcelona. Nice, look at this. No, Emiliano, non sono a Monza purtroppo. Restrizioni Covid, resto a casa come al solito. Non sono a Monza. Hey, hello, Paul. All good. Okay, so let's start. So let's see, what is the save here? Oh yeah, lots of wing. Let's go with the aggressive. Do a couple of laps. Oh, I can see already. I don't remember if that setup is good enough, but I can see already it's so low at the rear and high at the front because of the BOP ride height limitations on the GT4 cars. Practically, on GT4 cars, the BOP cannot work a lot, with aero and ballast and stuff like that. The cars are very different between them, so sometimes they are going completely out of their minds with the ride heights limitations, usually making the cars negative rake like that, to force the car, to have a worse front suspension geometry because of it's much higher, and so they force the car to go up at the rear end with the setup. They force the teams to go up and so raise the whole center of gravity of the car in order to make the car more balanced out. I can see already this here happening, so we'll see. Let's go out and do a couple of laps, make our pressures correct, and then we'll see. Barcelona from Freddie Mercury. Nice. All right, so let's do a couple of. Actually, no. Let me go back and at least put a little bit of telemetry up, so we can maybe check some telemetry later on. And yeah, let's try this. Let's see if we also have the desktop audio on. Yes, I think so. Yeah. Cool.
Low tire pressure. Stay clear of the curves.
Tire pressure is very low. Okay, just a couple of laps to check out how our pressures are. Tonight I cannot talk. Oh, understood. Yeah, I don't use HDR because I don't have an HDR monitor anyway, so. Oi. Understeer everywhere, but let's put up some pressures. Yeah, 6 cylinders, no turbo, 4 liters, as far as I remember. Ideal tire temps are around from, let's say, 70 degrees up to 105, something like that. They don't lose a lot of grip going under that, but obviously if they become very cold, then they will lose grip. And most importantly, they change also their characteristics. So, for example, if they get too cold, they become more rigid, less dampening on the tire, and the slip angle becomes even narrower, so that's not good. Silky, as you might know or not, we are doing an official game of the SRO Championship, so we are not doing all the tracks and cars or whatever. Davide, il Motec serve per guardare la telemetria. È il programma di telemetria più famoso che c'è e Assetto Corsa lo supporta. Di conseguenza tu puoi fare un po' di giri e puoi guardare la telemetria se riesci a leggerla, ovviamente, perché sennò è inutile, e capire come puoi migliorare. I'm not Italian. I am Greek. I live in Italy since 1991, but I am Greek. Oh, that sun is really blinding.
Well done, mate. The fastest step so far.
Oh, reading the chat way too much. Let me do another lap so we can check the temperatures and the pressures. Oh, so much understeer here. Oof. Yeah, rain would be nice, but we need first to make a suitable setup and learn a little bit the track and the car, and then maybe we can try rain. How do I feel about my work being put to test? I'm excited about the whole situation, and I'm honored that, you know, this thing happens to my work for the first time. I'm a little bit worried because, you know, sim racing, we perceive sim racing in a different manner, and real drivers perceive sim racing in a different manner themselves. And for the first time, they will going to assign real, points. And I'm afraid that if they don't take it really seriously, you're going to see a crash fest, and that I would not really like to see that. But I keep off the stress of all those thoughts, because honestly, this is very wonderful and nice and exciting and everything, but I'm always focused on sim racers, on you guys, because I'm a sim racer too. So my main purpose is to simulate the reality as realistically as possible, to make myself happy and possibly the sim racers happy. And if I achieve that, then this is my, the best thing I can do, and I will be happy for that. If real drivers that might have a bad race talk bad about my product, honestly, I don't care that much. I have real drivers that they give me constant feedback, and so I know actually how good my product is, and my work is, and that's all that I care about, honestly. So I don't expect to gain anything else from that kind of situation that is going to happen this weekend. If they like it, even better for me. If they don't, what you can do? It is what it is. Right, so pressures are really low, and I have also some terminal understeer on some turns, especially at turn in on brakes. So let's go in and start to fix that stuff. Nice. All right, let's stop here. Let me check also the chat. What says I? Yeah, it's for all tracks. Well, yes, as CC Driver said, no, actually, Mopar Milan said the asphalt is not exactly the same, so you get different levels of grip on different tracks, also different power curves and everything. So even the aerodynamics are different depending on the altimeter of the track. So yeah, all that stuff changes. Yeah, you feel much grippier because there is quite a bit of a difference between, I don't know, Laguna Seca, for example, and Poricar, for example. It's a pretty grippy track. Or Silverstone 2018, very grippy track, for example. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. Sport Designs is here. Yeah, also cambered corners. There are many things that can change your perception of that. No, J-band, I don't want it to be even. On the contrary, I want to have at least a 5 to 10 degrees difference, somewhere around there. The pressures are a little bit lower right now, so let's go back to the basics for a minute because it helps also new people. So for the GT4 cars, I want the pressures hot to be somewhere around 27 psi. Somewhere around there, so 26.6 to 27.4, somewhere around there, okay? So right now, after a couple of laps, my hot pressures, you can see them over here, whether it says PSI hot, it's 24.9, okay, on the front left, which means that I need at least 3 PSI to go up to 27. That means that I have to go on the cold pressure, the ones that you put on the tires before you exit the pits, okay, and raise it by 3 psi. So I'm gonna get this 20.1 and put it at 23.1, okay. That means that when those tires will get heat, the heat makes the pressure go up, and so I'm starting with 3 psi more, and that means that also the hot pressure will go up by more or less 3 psi. Okay, so I will do that for all the tires. Here I have 25.5. It means that I need 1.5 psi. So let's go 1 up, 22.9, and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is 25, so 2 psi over here. So this is not 3, this had to be 2 psi. I made a mistake because it was 25, so 22.1. Okay, that makes more sense, I think, now. Yeah, yes, I saw that on the chat already, yeah. So this is 2, and I want to go to 27, as I said, so 2 psi here, 21.7, like this, and again 1.5 here, so 22.5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 23. Okay, so this is the pressures. I will go down a lot on the brake bias. I can also fix the brake bias while driving, so I will try this while driving, and we'll see how we do. Okay, so probably I won't use all that aero in this track. We'll see how it goes. All right. Okay, let's try it as we did. Let's try it as it is and see if we can improve it. Yes, Steve, I will. All right, let's go on.
Low tire pressure, stay away.
Yes, B-man, lower number means more brake bias to the rear, because it is front brake bias, so the number you see is how much brakes on the front, and it's not even absolute because we are working also with the pressure of the actual hydraulic system, how big the brakes are back and forth, so that number is not absolute. It's a number that comes out for each car differently, so just take it as a number and move on from there. Okay, so again we're going to do a couple of laps, check if our pressures are good, because if we don't have good pressures, then all the work we are doing is worthless. So the first thing to do and the last thing to do is make sure that your pressures are correct. It's the most important part, because in the end, whatever you do, your the whole car and the grip you have with the asphalt is limited on these 4 tire patches and footprints. So the wider and the bigger is the footprint area from each tire, the better it is. And the wider footprint area is achieved when you have the correct pressure on the tires. There's no other way around it. Plus, in the meantime, you know, you're doing laps on the circuit. You have to try to stay on the road, of course, and do them properly. And you get better, you know, you help your muscle memory and everything else. I still have some medium to high speed understeer here. The turn-in is much better now. Can become even better, but we'll see. Oh yeah, much better here. Yeah. Pressures are coming up. Still some understeer. So I can still maybe on the next lap work a little bit on the brake bias again. The front right is so cold because we are at Barcelona, a notorious track of eating up completely the left tires and especially the front left tire. In all the series, from Turismo cars to GT3s to single-seaters to Formula One. I mean, even the MotoGP bikes have asymmetrical tires. Left and right, because obviously they are hitting so much one side of the tire. Went outside the road. You can see so many really hard, fast turns towards the right, which means that your left tires are working really hard and your right tires are practically unloaded, and so they get colder. I mean, look at that. That's a left turn, and that was it. And then you come up into this very hard right-hander can. So the left tires are under big stress. Yeah, GT4 cars are 8 to 12 seconds depending on track, slower than the GT3s. You can see that the pressures are very good all around, and I will now try for this lap to go a little bit even more backwards to the brake bias and see if I can improve. I still have some understeer here that I have to fight with. So if I go too deep here, then there is no way to cut the car. So I have to be careful or saying something. I'm still struggling with understeer everywhere. All right. 54.4, we're getting better. So let's stop. Check a little bit our pressures and start working a little bit on the setup to see if we can improve. Right, so pressures are good here, a little bit high here, but I don't care honestly, because a little bit high on the left rear, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. This is a little bit low, so I could use a little bit extra pressure here. So 1.23. So you see again, the hot pressure was 26.7. So to get up to 27, I need 0.3 psi. So I go to the cold pressure and I raise up by 0.3, and that, when the tires will be hot, will possibly put me in a good position. All right, so let's see. So, as you saw, well, first of all, we went down to 24 or 52% of brake bias, and it still wasn't that good. So I will go down to 51, and I'm still having understeer issues, especially at turn-in. So what I'm going to try to do, considering that we are also at Barcelona, which is a very flat track, and it doesn't have any big undulations that they can upset the car, I will try to go up one click with the anti-roll bar and down one click to the preload differential, trying to rotate the car a little bit on turn-in, okay, and see if I can improve on that. As you know, those cars are not that sensitive in ride height, so altering the ride height, it won't change the aero balance. On the contrary, you have to think that because those cars don't have really any big diffusers or whatever, and they only have a rear wing, a pretty big rear wing, if you raise the rear ride height, you practically change nothing in the underneath aerodynamics of the car. You do change the suspension geometry, so that will help you, and we might try this. But you also raising the angle of the rear wing, even if you don't do it here in terms of clicks, all right? By going higher on the rear end of the car, you are practically, having more rake, and that means that the rear wing, you might still be on number one click here, which might mean, I don't know, 2 degrees, 0 degrees, depending, or even something else, depending on the car. But those degrees will get higher, so you will get more drag and a little bit more downforce at the rear when you are having a higher rear ride height on those cars. So, while I have always told you that in the GT3 cars, the first thing you do after the pressures is the actual ride height, on the GT4 cars, I would go in the mechanical grip and try something different here firstly. Then maybe I will try to lower the rear wing and get even less drag if possible, because in the end those cars are, much more based on the mechanical grip to go fast than the actual aerodynamic grip. The aerodynamic grip is at least 1/3, sometimes even less of 1/3 of a GT3 car. So, yeah. There is no aerodynamic balance description because it wouldn't make sense and it would make you guys even more confused. Because, as I said before, when I raise the rear right height, instead of having the aerodynamic balance shifting to the front, it might shift to the rear because of what I've just explained. So, and it is very different from car to car. The GT4 cars are very, very strange. And because it doesn't really make much of a difference, because the downforce on those cars are minimum, we just eliminate it to, save you from any confusion and start asking why it's working on the contrary from the GT3s and there is a bug or there is an issue or whatever. Both. Okay, let's go and do another couple of laps. We are already down to 154.5, not bad. And let's see what is going to happen.
Low tire pressure, stay away from curbs.
Still down, still understeer here. Very cold tires, so let's wait. Ah. Front end stayed a little bit easier. Single-handed, it depends on your level of driving, technique. Personally, I'm not an alien. I think I'm decent fast, but I'm certainly not an alien. So the first thing I look is to be comfortable with the car and to be able to attack the corners, attack the braking points, attack the exits, all that stuff. If I'm comfortable with the car and I can attack the corners with the car, then I will be able later on my practice, I will be able to produce lap times, good lap times, and most importantly, be consistent on the race. If I'm not comfortable with the car, then whatever I do on the setup, it won't translate to good lap times. Aliens can drive any setup. Sometimes they can drive fast even though the setup sucks. This is something that I've seen many times. And they don't really care that much on the setup. They can just go fast, And I really want to be comfortable. So the first thing I do is having a good stable car that I can drive to the limit for my level of driving technique. And that then will permit me to go to better lap times. And the more you practice with the car, with such a setup, the more you understand how the car reacts, because you are not fighting for dear life, on every turn and every lap. And that means that later on with your practice, after a day, 3 days, 1 week, you start also to understand, okay, what I could do to be faster on turns that I might have, issues. And so I will switch the setup to start chasing a little bit more the lap time, up to a point that I won't be comfortable anymore, so I will go one step behind. All that stuff, I have talked extensively on that, and I have made, I think, a very nice video which had also quite a bit of success. And the video is called "Why Don't You Use the Safe Setup?" And on that video, I'm explaining how you can use the safe setup to get better, right? And without having issues to control the car, and most importantly, by understanding also how to what the car does and how you can improve it. So yeah, I highly recommend that you have a look on that video and understand what is going on. Yeah, well, the drive faster is always putting things into perspective. So AE said something very interesting now on the chat. He said that he's doing 155s on Nürburgring, right? And aliens do 153s, all right? So how do they do that? Oh my God, 2 seconds. Where do I lose 2 seconds per lap, right? And I've talked about that many times, and it is very, very important because people tend to focus on the 2 seconds and fail to realize what those 2 seconds really are. And 2 seconds is nothing really. And this is both why it is very easy, and it's not that important that you are slower by 2 seconds, and at the same time, why it is very difficult to find those 2 seconds. So let me explain to you. Now, Nürburgring has how many turns? I don't remember, but typical track, it has at least 14 to 15 turns, right? So let's say 15 turns. What are 2 seconds per lap? 2 seconds per lap are 15 tenths of a second on every turn, which means that on every turn, an alien brakes maybe 2 meters later than you, brings in the turn 1 or 2 kilometers faster than you because it goes on the apex exactly, and you are out of the apex by, I don't know, 10 centimeters maybe, all right? And accelerates 1 meter faster than you. That is all. That is 1/10 per turn. That is all really. But if you multiply that 1/10 and a half per turn, and you multiply it by 15 turns, that is 2 seconds per lap. So this is why 2 seconds per lap is really nothing, but at the same time it is extremely difficult because it means that you need to take each and every turn perfectly every time. And the more you get closer to that, right, you never get closer by, being faster like 1 second in one turn. You get closer because you got faster 0.5 of a second in every single turn. And the more you get faster like this, the more it's difficult to find the last tenths of a second, last hundredths of a second in every single turn. That is why it is so difficult to make the lap times that the aliens do. I will show you my graphic settings in a minute. Let me do just a lap here. See if we can improve with what we did. The under still keeps going on, so Not much of an improvement. I need to turn the wheel a lot. So maybe I will lower a little bit the steering ratio. Yeah, I definitely turned the wheel. Oh. No, so that didn't work. So let's go back to the garage. Pressures are still good. All right. Biggest difference is mainly ride height, especially in the GT3 cars, and rear wing. That's the main difference, usually. Hello, Bjorn, sorry. Right, so someone asked for my graphic setups, so options video. This is it. Maybe you can, screenshot this and have a look later. I will slowly scroll down. And this is how I am in the image customization. So maybe here you can find something different. I'm having good results like that, as you can see. All right, so let's move on. Not much of success here. So let's see. Let's go down with the rear wing and maybe raise this a little bit to 105, something like that. Obviously, as I said, in the GT4 cars, you can play more with the ride head. You don't have to go, 2 millimeters, 1 millimeter at a time. So you can play more and have less result, less difference in your driving, in the handling of the car, because the cars are not that aerodynamically sensitive. All right, so let's try again. Actually, I'll get the brake bias even more at the rear. And oh yes, I wanted to go one click down to the steer ratio so that I turn less and possibly, have the wheels turn more, so I don't need to turn that much. Okay. All right, let's try.
Low tire pressure, stay away from curbs.
Ooh, hey. Oh, that looks already interesting. It's the first time I had some oversteer over here there. So maybe we have already. Ooh, that was too much, maybe. Oh, we have some oversteer here. Finally. So possibly the fact that I changed the rear wing down by 1 and raised the rear right head was a little bit too much. Let's get the tires up to temperature and pressure and see what's going on. Yeah. I don't know, RC Passion, maybe later. Maybe once I have a decent setup here and I know how I'm doing, maybe I will do maybe half an hour. I'll see. I want to do some practice here and find out how I'm doing with the car. Also show you some things. Now the rear brakes are made, the pads are made to work at a little bit lower temperature, but we're talking like 40-50 degrees lower, not by much. But you need to be careful because even though they are maybe not producing as much heat as the fronts, because they don't get so much cool air, you know, they don't go that much down, so they start braking at a higher temperature than the fronts, and that means that they could, you know, get worn out faster, and they could produce fade sooner than the front. So you have to be a little bit careful, even though they stay colder, you know. So don't overdo it with the brake ducts. That was a nice rotation over there. All right. We're gonna have a look at the brake temperature in a minute, having a look at the telemetry. Try. I didn't need. I thought that going down to second gear would be good, but it wasn't. The car is faster. It's a bit more difficult to drive, but it is faster. You can see how the delta is getting better and better. Ooh, too fast, too fast, too fast. There's definitely less oversteer right now. Yeah, so much faster here. I don't suffer from aero down understeer anymore. Still not good here. Faster but not good. Oh, terrible. Hello, pasta. Yeah, I'm working on it. Yes. Traction control cuts way too much sometimes. Oh, it's on 2. Wow. I've been running with traction control on 2. We'll put it down to 1, but let's do first this lap. Let's do a good lap and see if we can get down to 53s. And then we will start playing with the traction control too. Hello, Levent. Oh, overdid it. Yeah, I've lost everything. You see, just a little error and you lose everything. Okay, let's go down to traction control 1. Ciao, Francesco. See, you have to fight to not let the car oversteer too much, because then you're gonna lose traction and grip. So bad here. Yeah. Hello, NC. Yeah, really bad. All right. Okay.
Well done, mate. Personal fastest.
Let's go to the pits. And so yeah, no, all good, not bad, same old. Whee, RTX off. Yeah. All right, so pressures are a little bit on the high side now. Temperature is going up into the track. So let's go down a little bit here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that looks better. And I have too much toe, but sometimes for the mechanical grip this is good. Let's go back to 1 here. And maybe a little bit less right here. So, okay, more or less. Not that bad. Let's save this setup for now. So, how would we call it? Cayman Bark ambient 19, track 20, 01. Let's save it like this. And it's good. Okay. We'll see. We'll try both low downforce and high downforce. Anthony says, if I drive a Porsche and starts oversteering, something is wrong. Well, probably should have been the other way around. All right, so okay for now. Now, one of the things that you might want to, work with the GT4 cars even more than the GT3 cars, because you don't have anything else to do, are dampers. And it's very hard to work with dampers because, many go there trying to find rules of thumb. Do this and you get that. Do that and you're going to get this. Unfortunately, that doesn't work anymore in modern dampers and modern race cars. Back in the times where the dampers could only go up to a point, yes, you could find some rule of thumbs and work around them. But in modern racing cars and with modern dampers, depending on how you have set up the rest of the car, you then have a window where you can play back and forth, and you might have one kind of behavior if you go stiffer, but then it might reverse and have the other kind of behavior if you keep going stiffer, and so on. Or it can be completely the opposite. So it's very hard. So what do? Nothing. We just keep on looking at them without the possibility to do nothing. There are some things that we can do. So what we could do with dampers is go to the Motec, go to telemetry. And let me show you. So let me go to telemetry, and let's go to here and load the last telemetry. Oh, you see, it's already on the suspension histograms. So in the normal template, we're going to use the default template that we offer with Assetto Corsa Competizione. We have this tab here called suspension geometry, suspension histograms. And the suspension histograms show you now this is very important to understand, they show you the percentage that the damper is using, the percentage of time the damper stays into low speed, high speed for rebound and bump. So everything is written on top of that. So the farther you go away to the left and to the right is high speed, which means the damper moves very fast, like over curbs or over I don't know, bumps or stuff like that. We don't care about that much now. Okay, so the first thing you want to do with dampers is work around the slow movement of the damper. So you have here low speeds, so when the damper moves, but moves slowly, okay? So the low speeds are towards the center of the histogram. You can see here low percentage and low percentage, both for rebound and for bump. Rebound is at the left of the screen, bump at the right of the screen. So why you want to do that, at least initially? Because the low speed is what happens during all the transition phases, as they called, of the handling of the car, which means what happens when you start braking, when you start turning in, when you start accelerating out of the turn and going back straight. All of those is transitioning situations of the handling of the car. When you go straight ahead, there is no transition. You just go straight ahead. When you are turning and you are in the middle of the turn and you are on apex and you have a constant gas pressure and there's no acceleration practically and the speed is constant and you're just in the middle of the turn, that again is not a transitioning phase. So the transition phases is when you are start rotating the car and when you are stop rotating the car, which means turning in and getting out of the turn. Those are the transition phases of the handling. And those phases are very important because depending on how fast they happen, okay, so you're turning and the car turns very fast, okay. Now, if the car turns in very fast, at some point it will over-rotate and you will have lag, all right? So you will be the problem in the transition because you won't be fast enough to control the car, and so the car will start sliding. And the more time you are wasting controlling the car while it slides, okay, the more time you're wasting moving forward. The same happens when you're, going back into the straight line. If the car under-rotates, you have to raise your foot to get back the understeer. If it over-rotates, you have to, counter-steer to get back the traction. So those are the transition phases, and we want to tune the car in a way that the transition speed is good enough for our reflexes and for our driving capabilities, okay? So an alien will be able to handle faster transitions. A slower driver will not be able to handle faster transitions. It will need slower transitions. Now, what can we do with the dampers? Well, someone in the chat already answered that said, ideally you want the dampers to be, like a bell curve, so they go at the higher position in the middle and then gradually go back on both sides equally, okay? And we can see that we have a little bit of offset towards the bump at the front, both front and left. You see we have the dampers wasting more time into slow bump. So they go more time, they spend more time going in slow bump movement, okay? While at the rear, we have the same dampers, quite a bit of an offset. It's very evident that we have a little bit of a problem here. They pass most of their time into slow rebound, okay? So they are rebounding very slowly. Now, what we can do about that? Well, we can go back on the dampers. You can see that the rebound is like this. Now, if we make the rebound stiffer here, so let's go up to 8, for example. Let's go 3 clicks and go up to 8. That means that the rebound, the damper will be more stiff in rebound. And so it will stop the movement and will break the movement faster, so it will stop the movement of the suspension in rebound faster, and from that movement, the suspension will go, or will either stop, or it will go into bump. Okay, so let's go out, do a couple of laps, and see what is going to happen. Okay, so we just went 3 clicks up, and we want to do a couple of laps and see what it will happen. Hello, friends.
Low tire pressure. Stay clear of the curbs.
Cold tires. Hey, Tim. Thanks, DMC. Let's hope that we will be able to show you something that you can use, because it's easy with dampers to make big errors and never get out of the problem. Ja, so Nick. Oh. Brake a little bit too late there. Pressures are coming up to good values, but not yet perfect. Oh, very late, very late, very late. The ABS on this car is pretty terrible. So you really need to not exaggerate it, because they're using the street ABS with some adaptation usually for the GT4 cars, and they are not that good to work with. It's a little bit better, but it has some levels that you can play with, but at turning you really have to stay out of the ABS here. Hey Stefano, tutto bene? Yeah, John, the Audi has practically the street ABS, and it is terrible. As a matter of fact, for the 2020 Audi GT4, they switched to the GT3 ABS on the GT4 car, so you have many levels to work with. It's much, much better, but we don't have that car. Alright, pressures are almost perfect, so let's see. Stefano, in famiglia parliamo greco. It's amazing how I cannot understand this turn yet. I just don't get it. And it's me. It has nothing to do with the car. It has nothing to do with the circuit. It's all my problem. Oh, too late again. All right, let's go. A bit better here, and in fact gain so much more time. It was better. Not too comfortable with the car. So let's have a look at what we did with the dampers. So, yeah, back to the setup and everything, and let's go back to the dampers and load the last batch of lap times here. So here we are. Go to the data, and here's our last lap time. So let me check this. Oh, something interesting happened here. Let's we can select both and compare a little bit. So let's see. So we can see we have improved a little bit the situation, not by much. One of the important things that we can see here is that not only we lowered a little bit the time that the rebound, that the damper passes in rebound, but we've raised a little bit the time that the bumper, the damper passes in bump. This happens because obviously, if you are losing how much time the damper goes in rebound, obviously the time that spends in bump, it's going to be higher. So you never get just one change in the curve. You always get both sides of the curve changing together. So we will raise it a little bit more and see how it works. Okay, so we will go back again in here, And let's go up to 10. Let's go to 11. Yeah, just for the fun. And yeah, check what happens. By the way, we also had the front bump, so maybe we can fix that also a little bit and see what we can do. Do a couple of laps extra. I just want to see what is going to happen on the dampers right now. Track temp has going quite a bit up from the start of the steam, and we are getting faster, which means that we're really gaining a lot of lap time from the car and from our driving, which is good. We're down to 53.8. After that, I want to see what is going to happen with the dampers. And after that, I want to try a high downforce setup. And then we can compare the 2 laps inside Motec and see where we lose and where we gain. It's going to be interesting, I think, to do it this way. You can see already how the car goes over the curb, and it's a little bit, and those are not, you know, fast curves that will upset the car. They're very smooth. So the car will just go over it, glide over it, get down, and you know, it's much more predictable what it doesn't bounce. So that is also an indication by feel that we are doing something correctly. That sun is completely blind over there. Hey Jamal, why are you so angry? Whoop. No, I'm losing too much time. Although the car feels better, but I don't know if I'm slower or the conditions are slower or whatever. Could be everything together. Oh, too much. Yeah, the car seems better, but I was slower. That's a bit strange. Yeah, exactly, Rafael, yeah. Over rotation there for me. I touched the curb way too much. Okay, that was on me. Car feels good, and lap times possibly is pretty much the same. I just made errors there. I could surely made similar lap times. Yeah, that's me. That's my bad. Have some oversteer here, you can see that. If I could fix that, maybe at the expense of some, understeer, it could probably make the car faster, even though it wouldn't be so balanced, but it could possibly make the car faster. But I'm curious to see what we've done with the dampers here. So let's load this up. Get the latest, which is this one, and that's interesting. So let's eliminate this. Look at that. So these now are the green ones. So we've went practically, so let me show you. We went from this condition over here. Oops, sorry. So we went from this condition here. You do remember that we had all the damping, through the rebound. And now we are into practically the opposite condition. You see? Front are almost perfect. Okay. You see still the cockpit. Sorry about that. Here we are. Should be able to see now. Professional YouTuber at work. So we went, once again, we went from this condition here, you see, at the rear, all through the rebound, into this. So we've switched towards the bump. So possibly we went to 11, we have to go back to 10, all right? 10 will bring us pretty much perfect, almost perfect, the bump. So we are, again, once more, we went from this, okay, down to this, and down to this one, and then this one, okay? So you can see the difference, and which is pretty good. Now starts the interesting part, because once you have made your histogram pretty much, neutral in both directions, in theory, you should have a car that might not be extremely balanced, because you might have other issues that might make your car unbalanced, like, different wheel rates or aerodynamics or whatever. Doesn't matter. But in theory, the damping of the suspension is in a pretty good state, okay? And so that is why generally I'm always telling people, first make your car well balanced. Have a car that works nicely. And then go to the dampers. Once you have your car working nicely, you go to the dampers, you try to get the histogram pretty much equal, okay? It depends on the car. Some cars will have, and depending also of the rest of your setup, some cars will have flatter histogram here, a higher histogram, it depends. But try to make it so that the suspension, uses the same time both in bump and rebound, okay? That means that your suspension is pretty much well balanced on how it moves up and down, right? Once you have that, this is where the fine-tuning can start, because what it means that if you go back to the setup of your car, okay, So let's say, and this is a trick that we used on the setup of the BMW. So let's say that you have a car that whatever you do with the setup, it has problems entering the corner, so the rear end doesn't rotate enough, okay? So we had the damper balance well made out on the histograms and everything, and we wanted to fine-tune a little bit the BMW at the Bathurst race to rotate a little bit better. So what we did is we went softer on both the bump and the rebound of the rear suspension. So we make the rear end bouncing a little bit more. It was free to move around. And that freedom to move around made the rear end rotate more under braking and in coasting. And that was exactly what we needed to make the car rotate. If we had the opposite problem, because at some point, we kept going lower and lower and lower with the dampers, and at some point the rear end started to bounce a little bit too much, and it wasn't nice to drive anymore. So if you feel that the rear end bounces a little bit too much and over-rotates, it becomes unpredictable, so you go stiffer with the dampers, and at that point the rear end starts moving too much, and you get a better response. Same thing applies at the front. So first thing to do, you have to balance out the whole car. The handling of the car has to be well balanced. It has to do whatever you want from the car to do. You work around with wheel rates, arbs, aero, and stuff to balance the car. Once you are pretty happy with that, you go to the dampers, and with the help of the histograms, you make the damping of the suspension balanced out on the histograms in pretty much equal left and right. Don't go way too crazy about the the form of the curve. So you might have, again, depending of your car's wheel rates and bump stops and everything, I don't know, you might have this this curve here that might be very, very high, that might be very low and flat, whatever. Okay, it would be fine, it would be fantastic to have it perfect, but you might not be able to make it perfect. What you really want to do is play with the rebound and the bump to a point that it seems pretty equal left and right. So the left and the right are similar, very similar, okay? Once you have that, it means that the movement of the suspension is well balanced and even out on both bump and rebound. And that means that, the car moves nicely. When you have that on the suspension, depending on what you want to do, so let's say again, as an example, we are talking about the rear suspension, you want the rear end to move around more, you lower the stiffness of the damper, so lower numbers, and the rear end will start to bounce more freely, and that will rotate your car. You want instead the rear end to be, less bouncy and more well controlled. You raise the stiffness of the dampers, and that will make the rear end to move less freely, and it will give you more grip. But once more, if you overdo it, so let's say you are somewhere here, okay, and you say, oh, I want the rear end to be more well controlled because it bounces a little bit too much, and out of excitement you go here and you go like this and like that, okay? That will make the rear suspension so stiff that you might start to bounce not on the suspension but on the tires, and that will take off grip again. So once more, we see how in modern cars, the area of range, there is a window where it gives you one kind of behavior into a range of values. So let's say we were 7 and 11, right? And we want to go down to 10, we said. Okay. So let's say you could go up to 13 and 10, like this, and the car will still give the same thing that we said. It would be more controlled, better grip, more well behaved at the rear. Or you could go down to 7 and 4, like that. And so the rear will be a little bit more free to move and bouncy and will rotate the car, okay? But, as we said, this works into that window, for example. I'm not saying those are the values of the window. You will have to research yourself and practice and find out what's happening. But let's say that you go way over that window and you go into something like that, 14, 17. At that point, the car will become so much dampened so that the suspension will not move almost at all, and the whole rear end will start to bounce on the tires. And this is something that you don't want to do, because then you will lose grip again, and the car will become once more unpredictable, because you went out of the window of the range of the window of the car and the suspension. So that is why dampers are so hard. There is no rule of thumb, it depends. But at least I hope that now you know that, okay, first step, pressures. Second step, balance of the car with wheel rates, aerodynamics, all that stuff. Last step, find out the histograms of the dampers, and then move up and down together once you have found out the histogram, to fine-tune the rotation of the car on the dampers. Okay, so hopefully that will help you. So we said here we wanted to do a 7 and 10. All right, and a little bit more on the bump here, one extra, a little bit of water, and a little bit of salt and pepper, and there you have it. All right, so we had our best lap here. Now I want to try a higher downforce setup in similar balance and see what we can do with that. So let's go on the aero, and let's go up to 2 maybe, okay? And I'm pretty sure we are going to understeer, so I will raise this to 110. Let's see. I have no idea. It might not work. So let's see what is going to happen. Hey Marinko, no worries as usual. I will cut it. Too long didn't watch, and you'll find the part that you are interested in. All right.
Low tire pressure. Stay clear of the curbs.
Let's do some laps in higher downforce and see, first of all, if the car is balanced out with just the change we did on the right height. Might not be balanced out at all. And then, once we have found a similar balance, see if we have improved our lap times. Yeah, the dampers are really, really hard. It's really difficult to understand what to do. The histograms can help you at least to find a base condition. Again, don't be mental about it. I mean, if your histogram is a little bit on the bump or a little bit on the rebound, it doesn't really matter. It's fine. It's great. And sometimes, once you learn how to work with dampers really well, you will see that on some trucks and on some cars, it might pay a lot to have the histogram completely asymmetrical, right? But, trying to find out where you are and what to do, this is because as usually I'm trying to give you a way to start from somewhere and go somewhere else. As I said, there are no rules of thumb, so what kind of rule can I give you? So what I'm proposing here is go and make the histogram pretty much symmetrical, and from then on you can find out something different. You can try things at least, you know this is your starting base. It's like the safe setup on the presets. It seems that the car is better. I could use a little bit less understeer. Yeah, definitely a little bit less understeer would be helpful. That's my fault. Woo, too much. Wee. Déjà vu. Marinko, definitely GT3. GT World. All right. Delta is 0. Much more confidence here to push. Not that faster, but definitely more confidence. Hey, here too. Just can push the car more. Yep. And I'm not even losing that much on the straight line here, so actually I'm gaining because of the better exit. That was too late braking here from me. So all in all, I'm still doing some errors. Lap time is not bad. I feel I can push more and the car is more safe. If I can find a compromise between those two, I think it would be better. Just can't get it together. Too much. Yeah, it's this understeer here that kills me. Alright, reading the chat. Okay, so let's stop here. Go back to the garage. I need a little bit less understeer. There's too much understeer right now. So how can I achieve that? For example, I could use a little bit less camber at the rear and less toe. There's too much toe here. Because I don't want to completely change it. I just want a tiny little bit. So we are really fine-tuning now. That is why I'm not going to the mechanical grip. Because I don't really want to change things too much here. I could lower maybe the front lateral bar, but I'm not sure about it. We'll see. I'm trying to do fine-tuning. Maybe, you know, 2 more millimeters at the rear could even help it. I don't know yet. All right, so let's try it like that. See if we can improve. Should I go 1 millimeter? Let's go 2 millimeters at the rear. Hey RDG, thank you so much, mate.
Low tire pressure, stay away from curbs.
The rotation is pretty nice. I like it. And it's smooth and predictable. Third is too short over there. I need to change up to 4th gear. I don't know if I should do that. Turn in 4th gear maybe. Ooh, some oversteer. I thought I was faster here, but not yet. Ooh, bad. All right. Let's see if we can do something. Oh, too much. Way too hot into the turn. Come on. The tires are too hot. The pressures are too hot, you see? The temperature went up and the pressures are really hot right now. So that is why I'm sliding around like that. You see, sometimes you just keep on pushing and pushing, but you're losing what exactly happening on your car. So right now it has nothing to do with the setup, the handling, and even with my driving up to a point. The car feels sloppy and slides around a bit too much because the pressures are higher than what they should be. Boom. All right. Okay, let's stop. Let's go down 2 and 2, maybe 3. And 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Also here, maybe 2 here would be good. Yeah, all right. Yeah, honestly, I shouldn't reply on console, but how many AIs that are actually running the actual physics of the car in a full-blown simulator you think that the old 7-year-old console could run? Honestly, sometimes I don't know. Anyway, cool. Blah, 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 blah. Let's save this with a different temperatures. And this is actually the high downforce, so let's call it number 2. And let's see if the guys are going to do a race. The community. And have a look there and see what's going on. Maybe you can do a little race. Server list. Let's go over here and search for Aris. Here we are. Let's change this to our beloved Porsche. Right. Where are the guys? Into the race already. We're doing the second race. Let's see if Andimon will tell me something. Hey, thank you, Victor. Very appreciated. Thank you so much, mate. Let's see if I can connect. No, I cannot. So they are into the race and they still have another 24 minutes, 30 minutes. Nah, it becomes way too late. Okay, no worries. What can we do? Let's have a look at the telemetry and see where we are winning and where we are losing between the two setups. So let's get those last laps. Although I don't, yeah, let's get that last lap. All right. So blah 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 blah. Blah. Yeah, we should talk about that event, but right now we cannot because it's too late and it takes some time, but also because since I'm start training for that car, it would pay more and it would be much nicer to talk about it when I will be faster with that car so that I can show you the small differences. So let's try to do something different this time. So let's get this one and the latest lap time here and go on the driver over here. So what do we have? We have the best lap time we did, colder and everything, and low aerodynamics, so low drag. And this is not good. This one is better, I think. So this one is higher downforce, hotter also temperatures. So let's have a look. Hey NC, take care, mate. Yeah, I'm gonna swap the screen. As a new player, the GTR should be pretty good and easy to move on. I would advise you to start with the safe setup, watch the video, find out what you can do with the safe setup. It will take a lot of time. Don't be discouraged. There's a lot of depth. It doesn't need so much setup work on the cars to go up to a very, very good lap time. Just keep in mind that even the aliens use setups that are pretty close to the aggressive presets if they don't want to lose too much time and deal with the setup. So just keep on it, learn. It's all driving technique most of the time, and pressures. Pressures are the most important thing. So that's what you need to do. All right, so as I said, we get the best lap time we did with the cold temperatures and low aero. And the best lap time we did with higher temperatures, ambient temperatures and track, and higher aerodynamic, higher downforce. So let's see the differences. Well, the first very evident difference here, all right, if we go over here, we can see that the green line goes at higher top speed, not by much, so the difference is not that big, but it does has higher top speed, and you can see it here. Practically we arrive at somewhere around 250 and 248, so 2 kilometers difference. Obviously the problem is not that much that the difference is at the top speed, but we have a constant 2 to 3 kilometers difference all across the long straight. So let's move forward. Now you can see here, on the contrary, how the white line, that's practically the high downforce setup, can keep a higher speed during the whole long turn. Let's see if I can find it, track report. Yeah, we are here, you see? The first turn and the second turn chicane, and here also. So let's go back to the driver once more. You can see in the chicane, the higher downforce car is much faster. And if we zoom over here, like this. We can also see how the higher downforce stays on the throttle 100% constantly, while I have to modulate a little bit with the low downforce. So that means, obviously, you know, of course, the higher downforce car permits me to go faster. There is also another reason here, and we can see that over this point. And I think that if we go in the track report, yes, we are at the entry of the very long, fast turn, the T3. Okay, so this is the very long right-hand turn, which is very fast. And you can see at the entry that the high downforce, I can go in pretty fast, as you can see here. The white line again is the high downforce. I am going in faster, but then you can see here my throttle goes completely down, and I have to coast while I can keep a little bit of throttle with the low downforce. That is because the low downforce has more rotation, while the high downforce had more understeer. And the more understeer, it made me, taking the car, that it wouldn't go to the apex, and so I had to completely raise my foot, wait for the car for the front end to pick up grip and go inside the turn. Now, there is something very important here to have a look, and this is something I'm always telling people. So it's pretty evident here, okay, that I'm going in faster while I'm much more gradual in the low downforce. You can see here I'm going down gradually and then up. On the high downforce, I'm going faster, but then I have to completely release the accelerator, wait, and then go up again, okay? Now, during all this phase here, let's get this part, okay? So during all this time over here, and we are talking from 20 seconds here to 23 seconds. So we are talking about 3.5 seconds of trying to put the car inside the turn and keep it there, right? So during all this phase here, you can see that I'm working with the throttle a lot, trying to put the front end of the car to follow the line. But if you go on the steering angle, look at, in both situations, how stable it remains. I'm going slowly from 55 to 63 degrees of rotation. So I'm like here, this. And then I stay there. I do not, look at that, I'm not moving the steering wheel anymore. Okay, I'm not moving the steering wheel. So for all those, it's about a second of a difference. A full second of time inside the turn. For all this time here, all this here, okay, I am not moving the steering wheel. I'm not doing that I can see many drivers that they are going to the turn, the car doesn't make the turn. What do? Steer more. That never works because you don't have any more lateral grip, you know. So what you need to do is play with the pedals to turn the car. So at some point you ask from the tires all the lateral grip that they can give you, and then there is no more. So there's no need to turn even more. You have to stay there, that you know that you get the most lateral grip, and then play with your pedals in order to move the weight around, load differently from the rear of the car and make the car rotate. So this is here is very, very clear. And if we add over here the G lateral channel, okay, so let's eliminate the longitudinal channel. We don't need that right now. Remove. All right. so let's see if we can scale this a little bit. Yeah. All right. Even more. Why not? I want to see more the differences. The more offset. 3. Okay. So, as you can see here, let me go back a little bit. Okay, so we are coming from the other turn. Okay, we go down. Now here, as you can see, the lateral grip, it is what it is. It doesn't go higher. You can see this is noise, obviously, but it cannot go higher. So it doesn't make any sense to ask more for the steering wheel. And if you see my steering wheel here, it goes slowly to ask a little bit more. I'm not doing big, steering inputs. I'm not doing like that and like this and go in, because I know it won't work. So what I'm doing is asking a little bit more. Does the front end turn? No. So what I have to do? Pedals. Play with the pedals, So this is what you have to do. See, nothing changes here on the steering wheel, a lot of changes on the pedals, and the lateral grip remains pretty much the same. And if you go out a little bit, you will see that it remains the same pretty much, and at some point it makes that big dip over here, because this is where I'm playing more with the pedals to make the front end go in again. And once I'm out of this situation, I can start going back with the steering wheel. You see? Going back with the steering wheel, and the more I go back with the steering wheel, the more power I can give on the pedal, and obviously the lateral grip needed is less because the turn widens out, and this is how you do it practically. The last graph here shows the lateral G forces. Lateral G forces means lateral grip available. About 1.2, you see, 1 depending. All right, so let's move on here. Now, not much is happening into this turn, except the fact that I can accelerate sooner. And here it's probably my driving not good enough. I am faster into this turn. You can see once more how the high downforce is faster, but the exit is lower. I'm going also uphill. I should compare those things in the same conditions. You see, once again, the differences are minimal. I mean, we're talking about 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers, and that's all. Can I explain the lateral G grip relation? What do you mean by that, Virus? I don't understand. Another thing you can see pretty much everywhere in the lap time is how the higher downforce setup, because also it's more understeery, it's here on the throttle pedal graphs. So let's go down like that. You can see pretty much everywhere. So here, and then here again, not here, but we are close. Here again, pretty much in all the turns, except of my bad driving. But in all the turns, I can go full throttle sooner than the low downforce. This is both because it is more understeery, and both because it has more grip and more traction because of the more downforce. And that's important, because every time you can go on the accelerator sooner, it means that you start accelerating sooner, and you're making more meters sooner, and so on. Ciao Giuseppe. So GGVir says it doesn't get why I can have lateral grip information by watching lateral G-forces and how I read it. Well, I think it's pretty obvious, but let me explain it for you. Lateral grip is how fast you can make the turn, okay? In terms of, staying stable turning. And obviously, the more grip you have laterally, the higher the lateral G-forces will be. If you go into a roundabout with your car, okay, and you are very slow into the roundabout, obviously you don't have G-forces pushing you laterally way too much because you're going slow. You have some, but they are low. If you go into the roundabout faster, be safe, don't do that in real life, etc., etc. So if you go into the same roundabout faster, you will feel more lateral G-forces because you are asking from the tires more grip. At some point, your tires will start to slide, okay, and the G-forces will not be higher. You will find a limit. So you can see how lateral grip and G-forces always go up and down together. It's the same thing practically, okay? When you are starting sliding, it means that you don't have more lateral grip from the tires. You have arrived at the peak, and so also the lateral G arrives at the peak. This is how it works. Is this something different that you mean that I don't understand? Let me know in the chat and I'll try to explain to you. What? Almost lost the bottle, second bottle. Race 1 finishing in 7 minutes, so I guess we can go into the race 1. All right. I'm thirsty today. Okay, so things that you can watch on the telemetry and see if you are doing something correctly or not. So, for example, let's get this. First of all, you have to concentrate on different sides of the turn every time. So this time it's easier, it's ready. We should concentrate on the exit because we have the throttle here. So this thing over here, okay, you see I have a jump and then go down and wait, and then up, sorry, and then wait again and then up 100%. So, yes, DigiVirus. Glad that that was exactly the explanation you wanted to hear. Okay, so exit of a turn. Exit of a turn, you are going on the accelerator. Now, as you can see here, I'm going up and then down again and waiting. Now, this is a problem. This means I'm not confident to go to the accelerator as fast as possible, okay, and stay there. It might be a driver error, or it might be a car problem, or both, okay? It happens here too, but less. Again, going up, I don't like it, going down, waiting, and then up, still not 100%, and then 100%, okay? Now, there are some things you can do to understand what is going on. For example, how much time does it pass from this point of acceleration to this point where I wait, okay? And you can have a look down here on the time and see that you go at 57.18 and 57.84. So that means that I'm waiting 0.6 of a second. You can also do that like this. You see, you can go over here, press spacebar, and then you have a second one that you can move here, and it tells you the delta, right? So the difference in time. And as you can see, it's more than 0.6 of a second, which means that I am waiting 0.6 of a second before accelerating again on the exit of the car. This is a clear indicator that either I'm not driving well or there is a problem with the car, or both. Okay, it's a clear indicator that there is an issue. When a telemetrist sees a driver that waits for 0.6 of a second, this is an issue. When it's not an issue, well, let's find out. So let's see here. So again, here we have 0.4 of a second. Again, this one is an issue. Let's see if we can find something that it's not an issue. So for example, here, okay, we have this gap again. So we go down here, and this is it's almost 0.3 of a second. That is very close to, as they call it, driver feedback. This is an issue for a proper telemetrist. A proper telemetrist will try to eliminate this. That's not good. But if that gap was something like that, so less than 0.2, so let's say it was something like that, and let's see if we can find something similar. Okay, maybe here, yeah, maybe here. Okay, oops, sorry. All right, let's see if this one is one of those problems. No, still too much. I'm trying to find out one of those. This is it. We found it. So here we have a gap again. You see, I'm not certain if I should go up or down with the accelerator, but as you can see here, it's 0.1 of a second. Now the good driver will try to improve that, but still, a reaction in the pedals or the steering wheel of up to 0.2 of a second, it is called exactly this, a reaction, a feedback. It's what the driver does to feel the car better without really losing time. So if the telemetrist finds a graph that is not perfect, but it's only for 1 or 0.2 of a second, it will not immediately try to address it. It will say, okay, this is driver feedback, we don't care about that. You will try to find out this kind of thing, like that, here. Okay, so this is more than 0.2 of a second, it's actually 0.4 of a second, and this is bad. This means that we have a problem. Especially, you have to understand, this is not the situation here, the problem is over here. I go back on the accelerator, okay, and then I wait 1 second, 0.3, to go back to the accelerator again. This is a big issue with the car. And we know exactly what the issue is here. The car was understeery. So you see that I'm going on the accelerator and then I have to wait. At some point I even release completely the accelerator in order to bring the car in. So that is a handling issue, or a driver issue. I might have been very fast on the accelerator here. And actually, the fact that with the other car that I have a lot of rotation, I'm going on the accelerator much later, but full on, means that this problem here was not a car problem mainly, but was a driver problem. You see how fast I went on the accelerator, but then I had to wait. While over here, I went to the accelerator later, but full on 100% and much better. In fact, as a matter of fact, you can see here that I was faster. The white line is this one. I was faster over here, but then at the exit, the green line, because I went on the accelerator full, the green line over here up on the speed goes over, and I'm faster on the exit here on that car. Now, again, here I have another issue. Let's see how long it was. It's almost 0.3 of a second. So Something here is not good. Might be the car, might be the driver. Let's find clues. Here's another clue, the steering angle. You see the steering angle going back into the straight and down again. This means that I had a traction problem and I had to counter steer. So turn, 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 turn. And then at some point I had to counter steer to maintain the situation. So this is a very, very, how to say, generic thing of how we look at the telemetry. We should made a full stream of the telemetry at some point that explained it better. It's not the case right now, but you know, things that you can get ideas here and there. Okay. All right, so let's go back into the server and see what's going on. Refresh list. Qualifying end. So let's connect. Maybe have a fast race with the guys on the community. And nobody's here. only 3 guys. Okay, yeah, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late. That's normal. It's midnight, half hour. We should have a look on all that stuff at some point. It's many things we can learn from the telemetry, but I need to make it, you know, step 1, step 2, step 3, because as you see, there's so many things I keep, you know, jumping from one thing to another, so it doesn't really make sense. On the chat they say we are coming, so let's wait a bit and see what's going to happen. Oh, I've missed the Maserati Ginetta photo finish. That would have been something. That would have been really cool. The MCS. Let's see if the guys on the community will join. So what is that? That's hot temperature. Let's load our latest setup. Let's go a little bit. I think the safety rating limit is 50. Hey, Dom Cross, take care, mate. And let's try something. Let's move a little bit the anti-roll bar down. We have a lot of, it's much hotter here, so let's go down by 1 psi. And 22.5, more or less, just, you know. Okay. Some support from the rear camber. Okay, let's just do a couple of laps. Thank you guys, hope you enjoyed it.
Low tire pressure, stay clear of the curbs.
Well, 42.1 is already good going. I'm not, obviously, it depends on what kind of ambient temperatures you had and fuel load, but it's good. Dorifto.
Car on the left, clear on the left.
Hey Vincenzo, grazie per il follow. Ciao Sergei. Sergei is fast on the BMW. It sounds like a pretty good lap time. Obviously, everything is you can improve everything, but 42.1 is already good going for those conditions. Pretty sure that with a bit of practice you will do 41s very, very soon. Ciao Mattuzzo, grazie a te. Take care, Christian. Matteuccio, non lo so sinceramente, ma immagino che un giorno sì. Perché di solito quando un gioco va avanti col tempo, prima o poi fanno la Ultimate Edition con tutto quanto, no? Non saprei dirti sinceramente, ma di solito fanno così. Oh. Car feels nice. A bit low on the pressures. Hey, 54.5. Password I don't remember. It should be on the server, on the Discord server. Oh, way too fast, way too fast, way too fast.
Your lap time is invalidated.
Yeah, I know. I know, Gergo. Okay, so let's go back and pressures were not bad. 3. Okay, well, yes, GT4s can forgive a lot more than GT3s, absolutely. I wanted to do something and I don't remember anymore. Oh yes, let's go down to the fuel and try a qualifying lap.
Low tire pressure. Stay clear of the curbs.
Lighter car. Oui. Full tires. So for example, that last turn there, this is a perfect example to test with telemetry if it pays to go in third gear or use the fourth gear and see, you know, what is faster. And it might not be easy with the telemetry, but sorry, with the delta, because you might have done whoever knows what other kind of errors. But with the telemetry, you should be able to find out how much speed you are carrying, and if you are exiting faster, the acceleration, how it is, and so on. Hey Franco, you know, tires are getting heat up as you drive, and you shouldn't really have graining issues whatever you do. If you have because of temperature, if you have graining issues, then the problem is not the heat on the tires but the steering input. You are turning the steering wheel way too much, and you are scrubbing the tires, producing graining. So as you can see also from my driving, you don't really need too much steering input. Try to use less steering input than whatever you're using right now, and you will see that you won't have graining at all, and your lap times will improve much more, and you will find much more front-end grip. And yeah, it takes a little bit of practice at first, but you'll see that it's much better. Can I make it to do another lap time? And 1 minute, let's see. Not sure if I can make it. Yeah, I can make it. One more. Everybody will have to wait for me now. They would be mad. Yeah, the graining is terrible. If you are scrubbing the tire, it gets slower and slower and slower, so it's really bad. Really bad here. Getting better. You see, it's fun, isn't it? You practice alone and you do good lap times, and then you come into competition and you go even faster because competition. Even at much higher temperature than before. Oh, come on, Aris. Fuck it, I've lost everything. Shit. Ah.
Session is now over.
Alright, my bad. Okay, so how long is this race? 30 minutes. 30 minutes. 30 minutes, I don't know, 2.13. Let's see if I can have 1 minute. I don't know if I can make it. Let's see how much fuel maybe I can make it. So actually 30 minutes, 1:55, let's say. Fuel per lap 2.2, 36, okay. Let's hope for the best. Okay, 38, okay, everything is good. Everything's good. How was the, I don't know. Whatever, let's try it. I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, 30 minutes now. This is kind of things are really cool. So try to find a server or go against the AI. Do at least half a stint as practice. It will enormously help you as you practicing, you know, day after day. It creates tons of muscle memory. Right now I might suck, you know, I'm not so good. I'm absolutely convinced that by Sunday or Monday, if I want to try again, I will be so much better. It's amazing how the human brain and the body reacts into practicing. So don't practice just fast laps. Practice at least a half a stint, so 30 minutes continuous lapping. This is what brings you know, muscle memory in it. All right, let's try not to make a mess. Tires are so cold.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Look at the torque of the BMWs.
Clear on the left.
All the slipstream, all the slipstream.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Ooh. That was aggressive move over there. That was nice. Aggressive, but the guys kept it together. Still studying here and trying to understand the car more than the opponent. They're so fast on the straight, so much torque. I'm so fast here. Sì, sì.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
That was nice and clean. Also great collaboration by the other BMW. Thank you for that.
Fastest lap of the race. Great job, man.
Federico, complimenti. Yeah, feels good. Oh, lost the apex completely. Thank you, Ricardo. Very nice of you, thank you. Thanks, Half-Blood.
Fastest lap of the race, man. Good job.
Ooh, Sergey almost lost it there. Xavery says BMW with indicators, wow.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Nice dev bomb here. Whoa, whoa.
Car on the right. Clear on
where we have to wait.
Car on the right. Clear on the right. Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Okay, let's go. BMWs are doing a strange line over there. Oh, come on. Pressures are really low. Yeah, it wasn't my fault too much, but you know, it's for fun, it's... No, non ho chiuso ancora niente, Matteo, non siamo ancora arrivati a quei livelli lì. Siamo ancora all'inizio del setup e della pratica. Yeah, it's for fun, it's no problem. Besides, you know, even if I've lost a little bit of safety rating by hitting the guy from behind, now that we are racing so closely, we are continuously gaining safety rating. This is how you gain a lot of safety rating right now. A lot. If you stay like that behind the other guy, you gain much more than you have lost from a simple contact. That is something that many people do not understand, because you know, you are behind a guy like this and you instantly try to overtake him, and then either you go away or you miss him and you stay behind way too far away. You need to stay close to him. If you stay close to him like that, you gain a lot of trust and a lot of safety rating like this. Yeah, come on, get some slipstream.
Gaining on the track, 73.
This is King Kong against Godzilla. Come on, Godzilla, let's go.
Car on the left. Clear on the left. Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Yeah, apply some pressure and 2 in a row. I didn't shoot for 26.5. I didn't have enough time to test the pressures for this kind of temperature, and it's low. But, you know, I'm in race, so not much I can do, just, you know, drive. Ideally, this should have been 27, but, you know, in race, nothing always is ideal, so what you have to do is don't give a fuck and drive. No, no worries, Clue. That's why we're doing those live streams. Do we have to pit or something? No. Okay. It's faster in third gear here, at least for me. Oh. Whew.
Well done, mate. Possible fastest lap.
I'm gaining very slowly. It's hard, it's hard. I need Sergey to do a mistake or something so I can get him. Otherwise it won't be easy. It's just 10 minutes to go. You see how doing laps, and not just, 2 laps, pushing like hell, best lap, go back to the pits, change something up, get back in, push like hell, best lap, go back in the pits. This also is good, but racing, pushing laps after laps after laps for half an hour, this is what really creates tons of good muscle memory, and it really improves your driving skills, because you can see that the situation right now, it is what it is. The car won't get better, the conditions won't get better, the tires won't get better. I'm getting better, I'm improving. And I can see, you see, I just made an error. That's a mistake. I can improve that and be more consistent. This I highly, highly recommend. You need to train for a race or whatever. Yes, do some lap time, some hot laps, whatever, but take the time to do at least half an hour stint where you don't care about the hot lap, you just care about driving, hit all the apexes, breaking all your reference points always, Forget about what the car is doing, forget about what the lap time is, take care only of your driving. You see, that's an error. Fix it on the next lap. Try to not be so aggressive at turn in over there. Because if you can do that for half an hour, or even better for an hour, then you go to sleep, you don't do nothing for a day, and the day after 2 days, you try again, and you are much better, much better. You see sometimes now the delta becomes green, all right? And it's not that the car becomes better or that the conditions improve or that the tires are better. I'm getting better. It's on the driver right now. And that's all there is to it. Look at that. I'm getting better. You see, that was my error over there. Should not do it again. Now here, I have to be more careful. Like this. No, again, too aggressive on the accelerator. On that turn, I have issues. that BMW tires are already gone. Yep, he's mine. I don't have much time, so let's see what I can do. Come on. Get that slipstream. That slipstream was very fast. I went into the turn way too fast and the brake is on. I didn't realize that. He also did the same. Ah. Okay, focus. Stay calm. Steady.
Car on the left. Clear on the left. Car on the left.
He feels the pressure too
Clear on the
much.
left.
He will go straight now.
Car on the left. Clear on the left. Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Whew. Okay, he can't get me. So just focus and make the correct lines. Ah. Oh, come on, why am I doing this? Come on, Aris. Oh, Aris. And now I'm fucked up.
Alright, you're the final lap is leader. Bring it on.
Okay, I've made it. Come on. Last chicane. Wee!
Clear on the left. Excellent job.
Wee! We won!
Safely.
Nice! That was a very nice race. Lots of duels, lots of good driving and bad driving, but improvements. Very nice. Yeah, they let me win. Very nice. It's drift time. Drift time. All right, let's drift it. Thanks, guys. Can't drift too much with those tires, but you can drift it. Hey Ovidiu, thanks for the great race, mate. Aris drifts everything. That is something I know how to do. Oh, too much. Yeah, okay, saved it. Very nice, very nice. That was very clean by everybody, very respectful. Oh, too much. Oh, all right. Very good race by everybody. Very good, very good, very good. Good duels and great race in terms of, you know, getting better with the car, with everything. I really enjoyed it, and I think it was a very good job and practice session for getting better into this car on this track. Very nice. Very nice. Let me ride.
Green light, green light. Go, go, go.
Very nice. Hey, Plazima, nice, nice. Did you enjoy it? Did you like them? All right, guys. So, let's see if we have the replay of this thing. Save it. No, we don't have it. Maybe I've saved it in automatic. I doubt that we will see a Kunus on the Formula 1 car. The Codemasters are very well into that, and besides, it could be really difficult to obtain proper data and do, you know, a full-blown simulator of this thing. What car were you driving, Plazima? Usually, all the GT4 cars have, you know, the street gearboxes and gear ratios, and usually with most of them, you need to drive 1 or 2 gears up from the GT3s. So, for example, let's say on the BMW, you rarely use anything else than 3rd and 4th gear. It's pretty much good for everything, you know. So yeah, it's really difficult. McLaren again. I mean, if you try, don't shift down to 2nd. Just put 3rd gear and stay there, maybe. So yeah. Anyway, guys, if you've joined tonight, we've talked for many things. Lots of material to cut if, you know, YouTube works, or if I have saved everything properly. I hope so, that I have saved everything properly, because I've configured the Streamlabs to register everything. So hopefully I have the whole video in full HD and everything is fine. And I will cut that and upload it, small parts of tonight's live stream in the following days. So thank you once more. I believe on Sunday we have a community race. Again, I have to see if I will have the family time, you know, free time to participate. I will try. And most importantly, we have the Monza real race of GT3s, and we will be on our Discord server watching, you know, streaming, commenting, everything. So join us and let's have fun together. So again, thank you so much for joining, and see you next time, guys. Cheers, bye everybody.